everybody, I have a wonderful and special guest. Emma McGann is here to talk with us about songwriting and how that can be therapeutic. Like I said, I have Emma McGann here, and she's a musician on YouNow primarily, correct?
Correct, yes.
And what all do you do on YouNow or on YouTube? Because she also has a YouTube channel.
I do. So on YouNow, I do my best to share my music with my audience, to get them to kind of interact and, you know, request songs. And over on YouTube, I kind of do the same thing, but I also have songwriting tutorials over there, as well as cover videos and my own music.
I'm more interested in when you started writing songs or playing music for audiences.
So I started when I was 18 years old, which is sort of a long time ago. I won't say how long ago. And I started just in local kind of clubs and pubs at open mic nights. And it was a real kind of small scene. And then from there, I kind of took it online. So I started growing my fan base on there, and here we are today.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I've always loved music. I sang in choirs and competed in high school and college. And weren't you nervous at open mic night? Like, I've never been able to do that. I'm like, I can compete at a collegiate level, which sounds weird, but it's so different when I'm like, well, I'm part of the team and this is what we're doing, but by myself, I'd be like...
I feel like with an open mic night, it's almost like a kind of testing ground. So maybe you've been at home and you've written a song and it's in its rawest form, and then the open mic night is kind of there to kind of test it out. So I can understand it's really nervous. Like, I remember the very first night I performed in front of a bunch of strangers, and I had like a guitar, and I also sang using a ukulele as well, which I'd like just learned like 3 chords the day before. And I was so nervous, you could see me probably like trembling. And then once I did it once, I was like, I want to do it again. I just keep going kind of thing. So I think once you're past that nervous stage, you just want to do it again and again.
And it's fulfilling, obviously.
It is, yeah, definitely.
So writing songs, do you write songs based on like experiences you've had? Is it kind of like journaling, for lack of a better term?
It is. It's like 100% journaling. A lot of the songs that I've been writing recently have been about experiences that I've had that have happened to me personally in the past couple of years, and it is very therapeutic to kind of write that way, because you're sharing your story with people, but in your own kind of way. So you're not kind of exposing everything that happened, but you're sharing your story in a way that other people can relate and you know, kind of find a kind of therapeutic way that they can enjoy it as well.
Their interpretation. Do you get a lot of feedback from people that are like, oh, that really helped me, or I've been there too? I find quite a lot of people, especially when I'm live streaming on YouNow, they request certain songs because they kind of speak to them the most. And with YouNow, it's a really good way to find out which songs resonate with people the most. So they'll be like, play this song because this happened to me, and it's like, it's just, that's my life kind of thing. I'm like, oh, okay, great. So it's nice to know that what you're writing about, you know, personal experiences, other people are going through that as well. Like you're not alone. And that's part of like my community. I always tell them, like, you're not alone. What you're going through doesn't, you know, it's not only happening to you. Like, other people have been in similar situations. I think there's a really important part of like community and connectivity that can be so validating and reassuring and all of that. So I would assume if people feel attached to you based on the songs and feeling like it connects with them, do you get a lot of outreach from people asking for advice? Or
I do. Every time I live stream, there's going to be people that reach out. Maybe they're going through something in their lives, maybe they're going through a bit of depression, or they're experiencing anxiety, and it's nice to know that those songs are helping. But when they do reach out further and say, well, what can I do to kind of, you know, get, you know, help myself, I like to push them onto people that can help in a professional sense. So that's why I think it's so great that you've come onto YouNow and you're doing all these amazing live streams, because you're a voice that can really, really help people. So I would say sometimes it's difficult for me because I'm not sure what to say. So it's good to have people like yourselves.
And I think that's something that I've heard from a lot of creators, because all different sorts of collaborations I've done over the years, I think a lot of them don't know how to answer and can feel concerned that they might give the wrong advice, or they might say something that could make it worse. And I think that is the main goal of my channel, is just to be a resource, like for those seeking out help, and then also for other channels who are like, hey, I understand, I feel that way too, but I only know my experience, which is powerful. And I always tell you, like, share your own experience, share what worked for you. Also letting them know, this is just me. You may have a different thing that works for you, may have a different experience or a different path to recovery, whatever that may be. And also I think your channel, and I say channel loosely, but like your You Now channel, question mark, is great because it's a great place. I know a lot of my people find music to be really cathartic and really helpful. And also knowing that you have been in places maybe they've been and they can feel that connection. I think that is equally as powerful and equally as helpful. And so if you find yourself struggling, Emma's also on You Now a lot more frequently than I am. And I think it's a great place to just listen to some music, maybe get some good sage advice from what she's been through, and connect with others who maybe feel the same. I know we talked about this before we started filming, but you live stream a lot.
I do.
And I was like, how do you do that? I get so tired. But are there things that you do in your regular life, maybe daily or maybe weekly or maybe monthly, whatever your plan is, to kind of take care of yourself? Because I'm always talking to my audience about self-care and how important that is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important for online creators to, you know, really take care of themselves in between and all the work that we do, because I think a lot of people don't realize how much work this stuff is. It's a lot to take on. So for myself, self-care, well, writing is, you know, a big therapeutic part of it, but I also like to kind of step away from that completely, turn my phone off, stay away from the PC, walk the dog, go outside, look around at the world, because I feel we box ourselves in a lot.
We might not leave the house for like days.
Yeah. Social media really does like take over. So it's nice to have a little break and balance your life in that way. And I think you can kind of tell yourself when you need that break, something speaks out to you and you're like, wait, I should step away from this for like, you know, even if it's 15 minutes, and just give yourself a breather. Just give yourself a breather, because it's important.
Yeah, and I think that's great advice. And I like the fact that Emma mentioned how your body kind of tells you, because I'll find myself either extremely tired or irritable, or tearful, easily tearful. There's a lot of different ways, and everyone's going to be different, but I think those are just some of the cues for me where I'm like, wow, maybe I shouldn't do that extra thing. What can I get rid of right now? Like, I know I talked in my collaboration with Mindy McKnight a few weeks back where she'd said, like, you know, taking mental health days. I need to take a mental health day. I'm feeling maxed out. And you just kind of like take off any of the things you don't have to do. So keep that in mind. If you're struggling, make sure that you take time for yourself and your own self-care. So something that I always ask people when they come on here to talk about it, to talk about anything, is what advice would you give to a younger Emma?
I would probably say to not compare yourself to others. I think I was definitely one of those people back maybe when I was like 16, 17, before I really got into songwriting, like really got into it. I kind of like came away from it because I was comparing myself to other writers, whether they be, you know, somebody who I admired, and I might be thinking, I'm not that good, I couldn't do that. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I put together the ebook as well, because I want to show people that I felt that way too, and I've kind of, you know, got my head down and got on with it, because that's what you have to do. You can't compare yourself to others, because you are yourself and your writing is your own, and you can't write like another person because it's just, it's not you.
You're not them. And there's one of my favorite quotes is, comparison is the thief of joy. And I always think that, because if we just enjoy being ourselves, we're not looking at someone else thinking, oh, I should do that, or I should be just like her. Instead you're thinking, oh, that's really cool they're doing that, but I'm doing this, and it's just enjoying. Then you can actually feel joy. Versus, you know.
Absolutely. I think it's like recognizing what you can offer to people. That's key.
I think that's great advice. Don't compare yourself. Just be happy being you.
That's it.
I always love that little phrase, like, you do you.
No one else.
Exactly. Thank you for coming on.
No problem.
And I'll put all the links to all of her things. She does You Now primarily, so if you're looking to hear some of her amazing covers or original songs, you can hop over to her You Now page. I'll link it in the description. And also her YouTube channel, because do you still simulcast all of your...
I do. I simulcast all of my live streams, so you can watch them on YouTube if you prefer to stay over there.
Yeah. So I'll put all the links. Check it out, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.